Monday, everybody. Today is Monday, June 9th, 2025. This is the Recoup weekly hour-long check-in. We did not do this on Friday. We usually do this on Friday, but Sid has been out in California for the past week at an AI conference. So he was traveling back on Friday. We're doing it on Monday. So thank you for your patience. And I'm Sweets. This is Sid, and we'll be kicking this off how we normally do, starting off with, in one word, how are you feeling today? And in one sentence, what do you need today?
In one word, I'm feeling charged, but like in a good way, recharged, I guess.
Recharged.
And in one sentence, what do I need today? Feedback.
You want to expand on that at all, or keep it simple?
No, keep it simple. Feedback. How about you?
Feeling happy. I need jump right back into practice, I think. It was a good weekend, and so now I need to just get back into the practice, and I guess making it more clear. I think same as always in this call, I need to know what the priorities are, or what is, yeah. Are we shipping new? Yeah, priorities.
Got it.
You want to start talking about California, or do you have any points that you would like to hit to kick this off?
No, I think let's start with what was. Let's just keep it like how we normally do. Let's see what was shipped last week when I was out. Where are we at with the shipments? And then dive into priorities moving to this week, and yeah, and then end with anything else.
The two focuses were on Veerball's side. He was focused on YouTube, and on my side, I was focused on Wave Zero. For YouTube, you should be able to say, is my YouTube monetized? Mine's not, because I don't have enough watch minutes. You need like 1 million watch minutes or something, or 1 million watch hours. So I'm not monetized. But we have two tools in here for right now. One is get YouTube data, and then one is one of them should be get revenue info. It looks like it's doing the get YouTube info. I don't have my YouTube account connected, and so it prompts me to connect my YouTube account. I click the button, it opens up OAuth. I select.
When you say my, you mean the user? Or you mean the artist that yours is selected?
The human that is signed in.
Got it.
It is one YouTube sign in, and then you're signed in across all of your artists.
If you have those artists on your account, on your YouTube account, right?
Well, you're linking your YouTube to the account table in Supabase. So no logic is happening of, do you have a channel named Beezer Rap? Do you have a channel named Broxillion? None of that logic exists. So it's your YouTube regardless of what channels you have underneath.
Okay.
We have not verified yet. We need to verify it. One of the blockers was getting payment info in. You have already told me that you got payment info in, so I now have to go back and see what else we need to do to verify to be able to get rid of this notification when people try to sign in. For now, you just click advanced, go to recoup.com on safe. Then it will prompt you for services. And so we ask for 3 scopes. One is monetary and non-monetary analytics, viewing your YouTube account, your videos, playlists, your activity, and then analytics reports. I'm not sure what the difference is between the first one and the last one. The last one just seems like a non-monetized version of the first, but it lists out all 3. You continue. And then you get redirected back to the chat. It should, and now it says that I'm connected. So we can see the number of subscribers that I have. It pulls my PFP, it pulls my channel name, my channel handle, number of videos I have, total number of views, when it was created. And so now we've linked this account. And so we should if we go over here, we should be able to say how many YouTube videos have I published? But that was a point of contention between myself and Veerbal. Veerbal kept trying to build this such that when you select an artist, if the artist is what you associate a YouTube with, and so when you say YouTube, if I haven't connected a YouTube to Beezer app, it's going to say, you haven't connected, go and connect again. And so for each active artist, you're going to have to go in and connect YouTube. That felt redundant and like it adds a ton of friction. There's no reason, because Steph does not have a bunch of different sign-ins for her artists. She has one sign-in, and that artist, that one account has access to multiple different channels. So it should just be you sign in once, and then regardless of what your active artist is, it uses your YouTube account. So now I didn't need to have to sign in. Now it looked up my YouTube account and it replies to my questions based off of what my YouTube data is. This is the current state of the YouTube integration. Next steps, I think, estimated revenue YouTube. I thought this got shipped. Maybe it didn't. No, there it is, get YouTube revenue. So it should say for me, I don't have it. So either I haven't given the permissions or my channel's not monetized. We have not been able to test a successful state for this because neither myself nor Veerbal have a monetized account. So the next step for actually being able to get this is to have Steph or some account that has monetized channels sign in. That way we have an access token. That way we can develop locally using the access token that they've given us. So that way we can use that access token from Steph to build out this experience to fit Steph's needs. Those are the two tools: estimate YouTube revenue and get YouTube info.
I think Chill Pill's YouTube account is monetized.
Okay. It would be great if you could go in then and connect and do the same thing I just did, connect your YouTube and then ask estimated YouTube revenue and see if it gives you revenue data.
Okay.
Do you want to try that now or keep going?
No, keep going. I'll try that if we have time after.
The next steps, I think on YouTube, I've taken Veerbal off of YouTube. It took too much feedback and he ended up still not understanding the requirements that YouTube should be on a human level and not on an active artist level. That was never able to click for him. So I still don't think he fully understands our system. He's currently on probation mode. That's a status that I've given him because this was a requirement we gave him 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't been completed. So he's under delivering based off of the requirements we're giving him. I have since taken him off of any major feature and he's now only on cleanup tasks. Veerbal is now only doing cleanup stuff. On my side, now that I'm taking this over, I'm going to clean up his code, change it so that it's instead of active artist, it's on the human level. And I also want to, right now it's tightly coupled between get YouTube info and YouTube off. So in order to sign into YouTube, it's calling the get YouTube info. I prefer, as you know, modular, small, the smallest tool you possibly can that can be composable and push that creativity into the hands of the AI agent. So I want to, right now this is a monolithic component. I'm going to break it apart into something smaller. That way it can be easily composed with the other tools that exist. So step one, human instead of active artist. Step two, YouTube login, smaller tools for YouTube. Step three is Steph access token, in my opinion, or SID, probably better SID access token. We need a monetized account. So if you can give it to us, that'll make it so that I can prepare it better so that Steph's not encountering an alpha experience, but is encountering something fully ready for her to get her socks blown off. So YouTube one, what did I say? YouTube number one was human. Two is smaller tools. Step three is monetized access token, parentheses, chill pill question mark. Question mark. Okay, so that's YouTube. Any questions on YouTube side, Veerbal shipments before moving on to Wave Zero?
Yeah, my quick question is, how are you thinking through connecting? I agree with you with like human sign-in links all of their accounts.
Mm-hmm.
How are you thinking through connecting like selected art. If they have a selected artist, it only shows the selected artist's info. And then like, do we then need to create like another artist? I don't know if this is the way to put it, but like an unselected artist mode where it's the human mode that like interacts with all artists, so she can say things like who's the highest performing YouTube channel out of all of my art. Like I'm just going way down the rabbit hole. My initial question is, our current UX is pushing people to select an artist and chat about that artist's data.
Right.
So how are you thinking through that when it's the human logging in from their account? Is it just the agent deciding what artist is selected and then going and understanding, oh yeah, I have that artist's YouTube?
It's a great question. There's two aspects of YouTube connection. There's getting authorization for the human's account, and then there's linking a specific channel to an artist. One human can have multiple channels. We want probably, am I correct in understanding that we want one channel associated with one selected artist?
Correct.
Cool. So it's a good question. The first part we're aligned on, one human, one account. We're now talking about channels. How do we link a channel with a specific artist once we have authorization, right?
Second, which is a separate ticket, you're saying? Like, don't even go there.
It is the next step, and you're adding detail on where we're at. So, and I think it's a good thing to be focusing on. The two options I'm thinking through are what you just said of when you ask a question, we always pass it all the channels that the signed in account has access to, and just let the LLM pick a channel on its own each time you make a query. Alternatively, we could make a new table in Supabase YouTube artist channel. When you ask a question like, how many YouTube videos have I published? The first thing we check is your account linked? In this case, yes. Second step, does the active artist, is there a link between an active artist and a channel? If the answer is no, does the signed in account have more than one channel? If the answer is no, use whatever the channel is. They only have one channel, no sense in asking. If they have more than one channel, give them a drop down. These are all your channels. Which channel would you like to link to an artist? You select that one time. We save that linkage in Supabase. That way, anytime you ask, it's referenced in Supabase and the human manually selects the channel. And that becomes a tool of like connect channel to artist. And then if in the future they say, actually, it's a different channel, we just show them that list of channels again. They select a new channel and then that updates the record in Supabase. Between those two of AI automatically, every single time you query, checks all the channels and picks which one, versus adding in a new tool of YouTube artist channel where we give you a drop down, you select a channel and that links it to an active artist, which sounds like the top tier human experience for you.
I'm leaning towards connecting a artist's selected artist to a YouTube channel that the user has access to. I feel like that will give us, it'll give us less errors in the short term. Right. We can always change the tool to be wider as LLMs get smarter and give the LLM more access. But like currently for trust and verification, I think like only allowing it to show channel access will mitigate the risk of it giving false information.
Right.
Without the user knowing.
Yeah. In the short term, at least.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm leaning towards that. Cool. But that was my biggest question. I love it though. So on my end, I sent a message to Steph and said, "Hey, YouTube is almost done. Let's set up a meeting to show it to you." She booked us a meeting, not next week, but the following Monday.
So we've got 2 weeks from today.
So yeah, we have 2 weeks from today to get the YouTube experience that we want to demo to her wrapped up and demo ready, so that we can jump on a call with her on that Monday and say, test out YouTube. Let's see what happens, and just watch her use it.
Right. Perfect. Great timeline.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, cool.
I'm glad she's responding to you and setting up meetings with you.
Yeah.
I am too. And she's an really active user. So
We love you, Steph. If you're listening to this, thank you for engaging with our product. You're a highly valued human using the Recoup product.
hell yeah. All right, let's get it. Wave 0.
Let's see how Wave 0 is doing today. This was what I was focused on last week. I had written down a lot. Where I ended up spending the bulk of my time was trying to figure out how to get the included list of files. So the first thing I did is I added sign in with Vercel. That was a whole rabbit hole to figure out. If you click deploy to production, we now have a Recoup product, a direct native app within Vercel. And so people can search for us within the marketplace of applications, and you can add the integration, and you select whatever account you want to link, and you continue. And when you do that, it sends us to a callback on our site, and then we create an access token and then send you over this access token. So if you sign in that way, and then you deploy an app, the app will be deployed in your own account, in your Vercel account. You own it. You have all the access. Nobody else owns it. If you don't want to sign in with Vercel, or if you're a music industry expert and you don't know what Vercel is, you just stay on the root app, and your app will get deployed inside of Recoup's Vercel account. So those are two options. If you want it to be deployed in your own account, click the deploy button, deploy to production, and then sign in with your account, and that will move you over to your access token route. If you just want to click a button and have it deploy, stay on the home page. And do you have a preference between one of these defaults?
You pick your favorite.
I like the Linktree one. So you click an option, and then it starts coding. It is using V0, and the most difficult part is figuring out, once it finishes its response, how do we know what files need to be included in the Vercel deploy? Did the LLM give us a response and it's referencing files that it expects us to have, but it's not actually writing it out? Like in this case, a card component and a button component from Shad CN. Did it write out those components, or do I need to read these imports and then somehow include those files in a different way? It's using a package called React and Lucid React. Have those packages been added to the package.json file? And so at first my approach was, whatever it writes, I'm going to read the imports, and I'm going to try to do some logic on our side to figure out what it needs and include those files. And about Wednesday, I started to think that I was mid-curving it, and I was trying to overcomplicate it, and I was manually trying to do too much. And then I started to think, how can I make this simpler? And I got into, what if I improve the system prompt? What if, instead of me trying to parse it, what if I improve the system prompt and just tell the system prompt, if you're going to use a component, write it out. Don't assume that we have given you the Shad CN components, write it all out. And so while it might take a little bit longer to actually write all that out, it's going to include more stuff. But we can still see here, it failed. Border class does not exist. And so somewhere, this is actually a recurring thing that I've seen. It's trying to apply this border class, which doesn't exist. And so I've included in the system prompt, if you're going to make a custom class like border, you need to define it somewhere. That's in the system prompt, but it's still using border. So there's these edge cases of, like, it adds a class that it hasn't defined, or it tries to reference a file that doesn't exist. And so it's still not fully complete, but it's in my opinion, a great place. You don't need to have access to our Vercel. You click the deploy button, and then you can see what went wrong. Okay, there was an error. I see all the deploy logs. I added a preview button. I think for now, if we want Wave 0, we need to scrap the preview button and focus on just deploy or just preview. They're two distinct ways to view the app. Preview is parsing the files such that it can be run inside of an iframe right now instantly. And deploy is parsing out the files so that they can be deployed in Vercel. And they're both of them. I think one of the reasons I wasn't able to fully finish is I've tried building out both, and they're both two different ways for us to talk to the LLM and parse the files. If we had the funding of Vercel, absolutely, let's put a dev on each and have them both get built out. But because it's just me and my hands doing this, YouTube and any other feature that we're trying to build out, I think removing I think deploy is more important than preview. So get rid of preview, because in the time that I've been yapping, it's been less than 5 minutes and it's already tried going through the deploy. So while it's not instant, it's faster than someone trying to contract a dev, get the requirements passed over, get feedback from a dev. It's less than an hour that you're going to get to see it. And I think that while not on the same level as V0 yet, if we can get it there, it will be better than the experience most music industry professionals have iterating between their ideas and their tech team. So this is the current state of Wave 0. I was not able to get a successful demo. What I would do is do it again, and it will likely work, but overall it works 80% of the time. And then the errors are pretty consistent of like this border thing as one of them.
I got a successful demo for this one. So like, yeah, it's just it's 80/20 right now.
Yeah.
But then and then there's all like just like the bells and whistles of like, how do you connect your MP3? How do you add your
letting in Recoup tools? Absolutely. That's one of the next steps. Is that's one of the big differentiators we'll have between us and V0 is V0 doesn't know what your Spotify profile is. They don't know what your Instagram profile is. And so we already have all those tools. Adding in the tools is an essential step. I didn't want to add that in until we were getting consistently successful deployments, because I didn't want to overcomplicate it more than it already is, but you're 100% right.
Question about the choice of deploying on their own versus deploying on for us.
Mm-hmm.
Does it is what's the question I'm actually looking for? Does the logic, how much does the logic change if we just auto deploy it into Recoup and then they can choose whether they want to move it to their own Vercel? So they don't have to press a button. When it's done, it deploys, they see it on live, and it's in our Vercel.
What's the difference between what you're saying and what already exists?
Here they have to click deploy when it's done.
You at no point you enter a prompt. When it finishes, it deploys it. No button click needed.
So what is the deploy button there for?
To view the logs and click the preview button so that you can go and view the site. So you can view the build that's happening automatically in the background.
Oh, okay, got it. So you're saying,
like, it already had this error before I clicked the button. It ran the deployment in the background. So going back to the same question, what's the difference between what you're envisioning and what currently exists?
No. I understand what you're saying now. So it is So I guess that was like one of my questions when I was doing this was like, once it was done, I remember I said she was like a screenshot and said like, all right, cool, what do I do? And you were like, click deploy or click preview. And so
you can see the app, get the app.
That was my question is like, once it's done, what are we telling people to do once it's done? Like are their expectations? And then you're saying remove the preview button, just have the deploy button. But really all we would need is at the end, once it's done and deployed, just have like a little click this URL to see your shit. Like at the end, like the LLM just says that, right?
Yeah. If you want to add a button in the text.
Yeah,
personally,
easy.
I'm not scrolling down to the bottom, but I also built the thing. So
yeah,
if your native experience is you scroll down and you're looking for a button to click, we can add a button to click at the bottom of the chat. If you don't.
Yeah, and then in that case, we don't need the preview. And I agree with you.
A lot of people were excited about this. I had quite a few people try it out. I don't know if people had success using it yet, but people who have not tried Recoup tried Wave 0. So I think Wave 0 has a bigger potential musician base interested in it, knowing that you can get a dev on your team as a musician than Recoup currently. And that has been everything that has been shipped.
Fuck yeah. This is awesome. Yeah.
So my current list of priorities was going to be to clean up YouTube so that way it can be in a state that Steph can test it, then come back to Wave 0. to try to continue to get the goals that we had last week done. You have sent messages saying you would like different priorities. So now maybe we shift the combo into what, so you can see it's already building here. Like it was already building before I could click deploy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was just confused at what the deploy button did. I thought like it built it and then you press deploy to deploy it and then you can see it. But I see what you're saying. It's just like it's automatically going and doing all of this.
It automatically starts as soon as it stops streaming. That's the logic I have in the code and here is a successful deployment. So once it finishes streaming, automatically start deploy. And then if you want this to say like view the live site instead of deploy, or if you want the button underneath, same.
Yeah, you can. But I see what you're saying. And so the preview button is just more like for the canvas, quote unquote, so you can see what's happening as it's going, as the UI is being built.
Right. That's the intention of the button, but
Yeah.
I haven't gotten it to work, so I think get rid of it.
I agree with you. The deploy button is more important. Let's get things deployed, and then once we can, then we can show them the build process in real time.
And use a link tree that was built on the fly. We didn't have to pay Linktree. We didn't have to go and get an API key. You don't have to pay anybody to keep this up. It's 100% yours. No branding of anybody else but you.
Amazing question. Well, I guess once we connect Recoup tools, then it'll be able to fill in all of this information with that.
Correct.
Where does their data get stored if a fan clicks stream now? If somebody adds an email, I want to collect emails, etc.
I want to collect emails. I think you said what happens on clicking this link and how do I collect emails? Which point do you want to focus on?
How do I collect emails? I understand the clicking of the link. Once we connect the tools, it'll do that.
Collecting emails is going to require backend connectivity. So there will be APIs that Wave0 will build out. So far, none of our example prompts are going to prompt the V0 model to try to build out any sort of backend APIs. Those are great questions.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go there now. Like, that was just one of my thoughts. Is like most artists are looking to do the direct to fan thing right now, and so like a lot of that's the big question is like own your own fan data. And so, if I was to prompt it, make me a pre-save campaign landing page, and then it did it. Where does that user's email get stored? Does the user own it? How does that all work? But we don't have to think through that now. Like we're at a good place. The skeleton is there, so we can just keep iterating. Do you think you're at the place of showing or getting user feedback, or is it just continue to build out all the bugs?
I've already been publishing this, so this is already live. And I've already been telling people about it. So your question was, is this in the state of user feedback? I am already actively telling people and getting user feedback.
All right, awesome. All right, cool. Then let's jump to my PO, my P0. Awesome job, though. You're fucking so fire.
Thank you.
And we can just be like, make me a rollout, and then it spins you up a bunch of emails, campaigns.
Great outreach too for Rostrum. Hey Rostrum, I built you this app today. Here's the link. Go use it.
Go have fun. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Let me share my screen.
Next step for Wave0, just to put a bow on it, I think fix the border errors, remove the preview button. Fix any other edge case deployment bugs. What do you think a successful question for you. Which do you think is more important for Wave0, that on the first shot, it deploys successfully, or that if it fails a deployment, you have a one-click button fix in Wave0, like what you have in fix in Vercel, where you click that button, it reads the error, and then it updates its output to fix the bug on its own? So again, those two options are improve the single shot so that we have a higher success rate on the first prompt so that it deploys, or add in a button on build fail that shows up in the UI fix with wave 0 so that if and when an error occurs, you just click the button and the LLM fixes its own errors and more messages being sent. Do you understand the two options?
Yeah, option 2.
Button to fix in wave 0?
Yeah, because we're going to need that anyways. We're never going to get to 100%.
That sounds good to me as well. I agree. Go ahead. Thank you. What's your P0?
All right. My P0 is, can you see my screen? No, you can't. I just stopped.
Now we can.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Full error capture. I've been using the agent last week. I showed my sister the agent. The longer prompt chains are causing errors that are not being tracked in Telegram. I verified this with like 10 different times. Like I saw an error on my end. I didn't see it in Telegram. I just would I would tell the LLM a Recoup to continue, and it would pick back up where it's left off. So I don't know. There's no visibility currently on how many other people are experiencing that problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's directly correlating to usage this week or last week, because there were, if I go into the conversations, there was lots of these.
Try again, yeah.
Try again, or there was people just stopping the conversation abruptly. Like it would
Right.
say it did something, but like then they didn't respond back.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would say like, let's begin doing this. And then they just wouldn't say anything. So I'm assuming a lot of people like saw the error, didn't say continue, and just thought it was broken. So P0 right now for me is we need to capture all of the errors, store them so that I can track them better. And we can just continuously track and monitor and all of the errors that are happening. And then obviously once we can track them, then figure out what's the top offender and fix it. So that's my biggest priority this week, because it directly affects people using the app and their trust. So that is my main thing.
Your main thing is in you're focusing on fixing it, or your main thing is in this is the most important thing you would like dev team to fix?
Let's talk about it. This is the most important thing in my head of making sure that we hit our goals of increasing user engagement and retention. I think it would probably be more effective if you fixed it or did these, unless you cannot. What are your thoughts?
My ego would like to build out new features, and I agree I will likely be the most effective at fixing this. Part of me wants to toss this to Veerball to see if he can see things that I wouldn't in terms of reporting. However, I also want to remind myself that I put Veerball in probation status as a result of him not meeting the requirements that I've been giving. And so now might not be the best time for me to try giving him a task to have him do something big like this, something that requires research and creativity. And it might be best right now to keep him on clearly defined, easy UI tasks that are easy for both of us to judge the output on. And I focus on this. It's likely going to mean less features or no features going out this week and just focusing on getting these bugs. Because step one is debugging, getting Telegram. Once we understand what the bug is, then we'll need to fix the bug. So I have a feeling it's already halfway through the day today. I could get started on it later on today, maybe get Telegram reporting in a better place so that today and tomorrow we can start reading those Telegram errors. And then Wednesday, we have a better understanding of what the bugs are. So Wednesday and Thursday, we're fixing it. And then Friday, we're reassessing, have the errors either gone down or are they at least being reported inside of Telegram?
Yes.
So I'll focus on first Telegram reporting and then fixing the bug. My initial gut is saying the thing that's loudest, and when I'm going to say it and then I'm going to probably not agree with myself. Part of me thinks this is going to get fixed if we update to the latest version of the Vercel AI SDK. I'm starting to think that they're leaning more and more into that new version. And I have a feeling moving over to that is going to make our handling of chat more robust. But then again, I also don't envision Vercel breaking everybody using a more legacy version of the Vercel AI SDK. So we should be able to fix it without updating the version of the package. But that's the only thought I have right now, is that maybe updating the Vercel AI SDK is going to fix it. However, I think the more principled way to approach this is what you said of, we don't have enough information to act on it. And so instead of trying to fix something like update the Vercel AI SDK, let's focus on fixing the Telegram bug reporting. That way we can observe reality more clearly and manipulate that reality from a better place of understanding rather than making random guesses.
Agreed, 1,000%. And maybe it's you put Verbal on, you have Verbal do the things that you don't want to do with this. For example, save all errors in Superbase so that I can grab them and create dashboards with them and we can track it. Like if you want to focus on just Telegram and then I don't know, but just thinking through, like, the most important thing that we can do right now, Sweets, is get users back on track to like not hit these errors.
Agreed.
Or there may even be a quicker approach. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. We still need to track, monitor, and get all of the bugs and errors, without a doubt.
Agreed.
A Band-Aid solution might be to just change the toast notification to say error. Please type continue. And like prompt people to just, like, right now it's not telling them what to do. It's just saying error and stopping. So they don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I told some people, hey, if you hit an error, just press continue and it should continue. But sometimes when you do continue, it just doesn't work. It just keeps giving you the same error. But at least that's like a Band-Aid fix to see. It will allow us to be able to see if they read the error and they press continue, we can track, oh, this person's having issues. So that might be a quick fix. But I think the errors
that would be a valuable solution even if we had proper bug reporting. Like if we did know what the cause was and we were fixing it, outside of this context, would we still want that toast to say that? Or is this only the toast that you want because of the current state that we're in?
Only this toast I want because of the current state. I don't know if it'll always work with every toast.
Okay. In that case, I'll focus on the Telegram bug. That way we can properly understand it.
Yeah, cool. But let me kind of show you where I'm at and what we've been doing on my end. Stop share. Let me see. Okay, cool. So you can see recent opens here. Yesterday, I've been sending out the Sunday emails of our new features for the last like 3 or 4 weeks. I usually send them to like the 20 or 30 active users. Yesterday, I downloaded every email from Superbase, Privy, just every email we've ever gotten, and I sent it to all like 500 people. Just to kind of see, one, to remind them, and then see like who's opening it, who's converting, etc. Mm-hmm. So you can see we're getting people opening it. It's great. 11 out of 7, like everybody's opening it, so they're all seeing it. This was a great thing that happened. Let me share with you. Here we go. So Eric, ef.studio was our first customer, first paying customer in December.
Oh, really?
Sent one message, paid, never came back to the app. We've been collecting his money for the last 5 months.
Love you, Eric.
So I resent him the new thing. He tried the email agent. This was his response. This is brilliant. Thank you for making and sharing incredible tool, and you're already saving me in my time and process. Wow. So he's using it now. He is also the person that ran into these messages. So I was able to tell him, hey, if you run into an error, just keep saying try again. So he's getting errors and he's trying it again. I have a call with him at 4 o'clock ish today, 4:30, that I invited you to.
I see it. I put maybe he is still paying, and he was our first paying customer, the guy that we didn't know that signed up.
Correct.
Okay, I will 100% be there then.
He's also Argentinian or from Argentina.
I will absolutely be there.
Yeah. So I also did an analysis this weekend of like who our users are, or our active users. And we have like a very diverse range of active users. But the interesting part is our longest paying customer and our most active customer are both not musicians. They are visual artists. Paloma and Eric, not musicians. They're in visual art. So I thought that was a really interesting insight. Like maybe we should market more for visual arts. But that was cool. So anyways, I have all of these active users. And so I did a quick, I re-updated this to make this a lot easier to read and understand.
Did you say you had sent out that email last night?
Yes.
I'm seeing the uptick on Vercel as well. We have 30 users today, which is like close to all-time high. So your emails are doing a great job of reactivating. That uptick that you see on your dashboard and that I also see on Vercel from yesterday seems like your email blast is getting more activations on Monday.
Yeah, well, when you say users, you mean web visitors, right?
Page visit, yeah, page visits, right?
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. Then that's what I'm going to start tracking next is adding web visits, privy logins, and then messages sent, so we can kind of track the full funnel. Because what's interesting is if we go, how many logins or how many web visits?
You want on past 24 hours?
Yeah.
Visitors in the past 24 hours is 36. Page views in the past 24 hours is 84. Both of those are up over 100% in the 24-hour day over day.
So look at this. This is how crazy this conversion rate is. You said visitors is what?
36. So 1/3 conversion from page visitor to active user, right?
An active user is they signed into Privy.
Right.
They didn't send message. From
and
signing
two of them
into,
were new users.
Yeah. And then signing into Privy to sending a message was 3. So
25% conversion once you've signed into actually sending a message.
Is it 25, 36, 30 to? No, it's 3, 6, 9, 12.
To go from visitor to sign in is a 33% conversion from 36 to 12, 36 visitors to 12 sign in. So it's a 33% conversion from you land on the page to you sign in. If you've signed in, it's a 25% conversion from you sign in to you actually send a message. If you're going from 36 down to, what was the number you said?
3.
36 to 3 is a 12x difference. So I don't know, that's 1/12 is a conversion rate. Less than 10% of people.
8%, yeah.
Yeah, 8% conversion from you land on the page to you actually send a chat message.
Cool. So I'm not concerned with that today. Or actually, let me keep sharing that. But that's something to just think about moving forward. Like I'm still like, let's 100% focus on our current active users, making them happy, making it undeniable for them. But it's just like a good metric to think through of like, okay, once we optimize the product and we have people really fucking using it, like there's some optimizations that we can do when it comes to getting people to like land on the page to actually send their first message that we can focus on then. All right, the other cool thing that I did was active users is somebody who sent at least one message or created one report within the time period selected. So this is 24 hours. If we go to 3 months, which is what we're tracking this quarter, you can see active users. Power users right now is 10 total actions across the time period. So
Actions
they
include what?
Sent a message or generated a report.
Copy.
And then the cool one is product market fit survey results. So this is taken from the Sean Ellis criteria of how to find product market fit, which is product market fit survey results means that they've interacted with our product at least twice, and one of those times was at least in the last 2 weeks. So they've tried it twice, which means they're a repeat user at least one time, and if they're a recent user, meaning. And then what this is for is once we have about 40 people here, we can send them a product market fit survey with the question, if we took the product away from you, how disappointed would you be? And if we get 50% or more would be strongly disappointed if we took the product away, it signals that we have product market fit. So like the funnel is, we need more people to hit this product market fit survey ready so that we can send them the email and say, hey, are you taking this, or would you be sad if you couldn't use the product? And then I set this up where you can search this by product market user survey. Ready? So you can everybody.
So these are the people included.
These are all the people included in the product market fit survey.
And they seem accurate right now.
I messaged everybody here for a 15-minute. Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't. I messaged 1, 2, 3, the top 5 for 15-minute calls, or 15, 20-minute calls. So I'm going to get responses back, hopefully from them. We have Steph already set up. Caroline, I'm going to set up. And then this is Bully. And then this is Secondhand Talent. And then Paloma. So
Todd Tate's Bully Meow?
Yeah.
Copy. Okay, that's good to know.
So
I'm loving the consistency of our top people. It feels really nice that the people that are on top are staying on top. And on my side, it doesn't feel like we have to expend a ton of energy to keep them using it. It feels like they're self-perpetuating for the most part right now.
Correct. One of the next cards I want to add is retention over time to see if it's going up or down. Are they using it more over time? Are our top users using it more over time or less, or kind of straight? And that'll give us also a good idea of like when features drop, are they driving retention? So the next 5 people, these people, although I have a meeting set up with Eric, everybody else, I sent a survey, not really a survey, but like a email saying 3 quick questions with, what are you hoping Recoup would help you with? Where did it fall short or get confusing? And if Recoup could magically do one thing better, what would it be?
Nice.
So not wasting our time on meetings with them, but trying to get some kind of signal back, because they're kind of using it, but they're not like fully invested.
Did you get, you sent today?
I sent that, like an hour before, or yeah.
Okay, so no responses yet because it's still fresh.
Yeah, no responses yet. And then the final couple people on the list that didn't use it a lot, like under 10, I just said like, I saw you use Recoup, but didn't stick around. No pressure, like just what got stuck, like why didn't you use it? So just seeing if we get any other signal back from the people who just like didn't really jump on and try it.
Beautiful.
So that means that I say all of this. Oh wait, actually I have one more thing to show you. I don't know if you saw this. You can click into a user leaderboard name, and it will give you the key insights and activity breakdown of this person.
Yep.
Total rooms, messages sent, how many artists they have, and how many messages they sent per artist. So you can see like Paloma's just has 1 artist.
1 artist.
And she's created 17 rooms and set 117 or 111.
Power user.
Now it does this AI behavioral analysis. So I send 03 all of her conversations, all of her active artists, with a prompt saying like, break down like who she is. Are her messages getting solved? What are her biggest problems, her pain points?
Yeah.
And it gives me this fire insights. Now, this is like version 1 of the prompt, and I think I can get it much better to be like not as much noise. but it gives like her use cases. She's writing brand and vision statements. She's researching go-to-markets. She's determining best fit platforms for promotional channels.
Right.
And it gives like a top recommendations, which is like introducing an artist workspace dashboard where users can save multiple artist profiles. So like this, again, it's something like I need to tweak the prompt and be like, we already do this, and things like that. But this is just a really cool way to see like, all right, cool. Like what's the person actually using it for? And tweaking this to get it to a point where it's like, it gives us top recommendations and why this is recommending. Like this person asked specifically like for X and we couldn't provide it. So we should build a YouTube tool.
Right.
But getting really, really cool with that. So, and then I also got to like cache this because every time
it every time and
it redoes it every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But that is the big thing. So you can go in and check that and see users, et cetera, et cetera. Sweet.
I really like that you are tracking, that you're spending your dev time building out these dashboards to track what I'm building. I think it's a very virtuous feedback loop of I build a thing, you're focused on tracking the thing. And I think it gives us some nice different distinction and delineation between building the thing and analyzing the thing. You're focused on analyzing the thing and I'm focused on building the thing. And I saw a post that was like, everybody's vibe coding, but is anybody actually, like, are you retaining, what's something you've vibe coded that you're actually using 3 weeks after you've vibe coded it? And I had trouble thinking about an answer. And then in the shower, like an hour ago, I was like, wait, Sid built a founder dashboard and he's always referencing that. And you've been vibe coding that. So I think that is a great example of something that you have been vibe coding and is adding tremendous value to I have gone in and checked it as well. The main thing that I have gone in and used it for is failed conversations. When I see an error, I'll try to go in and try to find that. The biggest thing that it's missing for me is the ability to copy the room ID. That way I can go into Supabase and look up the messages or open up Recoup and then go to that conversation. There's no ability, unless I'm missing it, there's no ability for me to like click a copy conversation ID from any of the conversations I've selected. That's the only thing that I'm missing. But if it's important enough, I can build that in because you've built it. So I can add that.
No, I can add it in. It's really easy. I'm like actually scared for you to come in and look at the code base because
it's just one single file with 10,000 lines.
I refactored it. Okay, so I hit a point where my conversations route was a 2000 line on the airplane actually here when I was adding all of this. And I was like, okay, we have to refactor this. And so like I started going through and refactoring everything, and it was taking me like it took me the entire plane ride to go from 2,000 lines to like 1,500. And so I'm still refactoring, but I then changed my system prompt and cursor to now be like, you should never make a file that has more than like 150 lines.
Love.
Like, and just like in big bold, like, yeah, like for the cursor rules. So like tweaking that is going to be good. But yeah, I can add that. And also like, I think like removing a lot of the signal. I'm sorry, removing a lot of the noise from that artist like breakdown. Cause it's like a lot of words and it's saying a lot of things, but like, I also see like it's regurgitating a lot of the same, like add artist tools for sync placements. Like, so it's the LLM, like it's just also adding like its fluff to it. And I want to remove the fluff and be like, the user sent this one thing. We couldn't do it. We should build this tool to do it. Like, and if we have that kind of clarity, it'll be really, really helpful. It's funny that you said like, what are the vibe coding tools that like you use every day and like retention, et cetera. And like, that's also like why I thought through, like when I sent you that, like brainstorming on the plane of like, what if like the user, like what if we just used Wave 0 to also like just sandbox out somebody's own version of Recoup that they could like add their own charts. And I keep doing that because like, I'm finding myself just like jumping into cursor and being like, I really want to track this. And then I do it. And it's been so empowering for me to be able to not only like build my own version of the UI that I want to see you know, and
Mhm.
it's been like I go because it's mine. I go back to it. I can say things like, "Oh man, make it a different color. I hate this," or like, "Move this thing over here," and it makes like so. It being mine makes me use it more, as opposed to having to learn somebody's tool. And
Mhm.
so that's why I was like, yo, it'd be really fire if like we could let the user go into Recoup and be like, hey, I want to see my artist Spotify plays from last week. And then it creates like it gets the data, but then it like, okay, cool, like save that as a dashboard on my homepage. So I can like so it's always there. I never have to come back and retrack or and just you can start to build your own version of the UI that is uniquely yours, that like, okay, this is the dashboard I wish I had, but I don't have it. And I thought that was
Mhm.
like would be so fucking fire. All right,
Everybody has
cool.
a custom interface.
Yeah,
Platforms won't be, we design it internally and everybody gets what we designed. It's when you come in,
it's yours.
it's yours. It's being created on the fly for you.
Exactly. And I think that's such a hard I think it's such a hard concept to wrap your head around because the tooling isn't perfect yet. And everybody wants their own version or their own branding. So like the hardest thing for me about to get over was if I send weekly emails to everybody from Recoup, it doesn't have the Recoup branding, like the colors and this and that. So what is the devalue of those emails if I can't like create those memory loops in somebody? Like what's
Of
the
brand
value of
mimetics,
wait, say again?
of brand mimetics.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that like that alone is what's stopping most companies from leaning towards this like your own UI, like your own thing, because like you lose brand value, you know. But if
Yep.
there's a way that we could wrap it all up, because eventually it's not like the brand value is going to be removed. It's going to be the logo, and then it's going to be a blank. Like again, I go back to it's going to be a blank fucking canvas where anybody can go in and be like, "Hey, and make me what's my Spotify streams this week?" And it will. All right, cool. Save that as a onto my dashboard so I can track it every week. Okay, cool. Send me a report every Monday about it. Like, make it red. I make the colors green. Like, you know.
How can Recoup branding be more similar to Shad CN such that it works for every brand? It is easily identifiable, but it is built to be customized and built on top of and made your own. Shad CN underlies V0, it underlies Airbnb, ChatGPT, all the major apps use Shad CN components because you can customize it. It's one of the few examples of an open brand, fully open source, no licensing, and everybody uses it. And it has its own brand. If you see something, you can likely say this was probably built on Shad CN components, but it has enabled people to customize it on top. And so how can we be building the same brand within Recoup such that it's sending emails, those emails are skinned to the styling of whatever email is active, but it also has in how we implement the styles, it reflects a bit of Recoup, whatever that means. Asking it as an open question. Of Shad CN is, in my opinion, has done a great job of building a brand that enables customization of everybody building on top while still having that small signature of this was built on Shad CN.
It's a great point. I go back to like their templates, right? Like they just have like the same rounded edges, the same sizes, the same. Yeah, like they have like what the 12 templates on Shad CN that like I would say 90-80% of everybody uses those instead of drifting off. And so like the same 12 variations of color and then the sizing and shapes are it. But even then it's like I don't know, removing ourselves from the need to I guess it's different when it's like internal and external too, right? Like if it's a user generating their own UI for their own dashboard, it needs to the branding is less, it doesn't really matter versus I I'm sending somebody an email from Recoup. I want them to think, oh, this is from Recoup, and it not be like like random different colors and shapes and sizes every time.
Right.
But that might also, like, I think we'll solve that problem when you start to go down the rabbit hole of how do I feed Wave Zero artists brand world into like the prompts, like in the back from the back end, because it's like it also becomes then like, well, we can just feed Recoup's brand identity into the back end. I went into actually, let me see if I have it. I know you have like a hard stop it too, but let me see. So do I. Let me see. Oh, I don't think I have it.
Yeah, you got Palm.
I loaded some of like the email visuals into Recoup and asked it to extract a JSON brand identity. So like the colors, the fonts, and then I used that when I was prompting like, make me a cartoon with a person that's getting like, you know, drowned in emails, and like it pulled in like the right colors, the right fonts, the right this. So it's like if we have those kind of like identity in the back end for already pre-existing for the user, I think it'll get more, it'll get smarter. Anyways, that was a long rant to say vibe coding.
We've got about 5 minutes left before our hard cutoff. What other things have we not covered that you would like to cover during this check-in?
The state of AI from the AI engineering community at the conference was just one big fucking fest of agents, evals, and GraphRag. Those were the three. Like every single talk had something to do with agents, evals, or GraphRag. So FYI. One of the cool things that I did see somebody use evals for, which is what convinced me to get Brain Trust and go into that route, is Brain Trust has a product in their suite called Loop. And what it does is it takes your evals and then you press Loop and the LLM tweaks the evals, reruns them, sees the grade, and then tries to tweak it again, rerun it. And it's like, it's this continuous like loop of like running evals, tweaking the prompt, seeing if it gets better, running evals. Now, I say this to say that the cool part was how they got that feature was they had set up evals at the beginning of their company and ran an eval to see if that agent loop was possible, and they tracked it over 2 years. And so GPT 3.5, 4, 4.5, and like Anthropic, like they all, and that feature was just literally sitting there ready but dormant until the evals hit like 60% when Anthropic Claude 4 came out
recently.
And yeah, and so they said what evals allowed them to do was put this like very aspirational idea and just run it, and every time a new model dropped, just keep the evals running, see what happens, and then the day that the evals passed, they shipped the feature.
Interesting.
And I was like, that's so interesting, because we could just put like, make my song go #1.
Yeah.
And just run an agent with every model, GPT-5, 4. And then one day, GPT-10 is going to come out. And we're going to make my fucking song go #1. And this shit's going to be like, ding. Like, and we're like, we fucking did it. Like, but anyways, just thinking through, like, it was a really interesting use case of like, oh, just setting up these really big aspirational agent runs and then just setting it up so that like you don't launch it until it passes an extra threshold of evals. But yeah, evals, GraphRag, agents were like the big talk of the fucking town. Really interesting.
We've got one comment. I've been watching it. It's been here for close to an hour. It was reported pretty early, and I have been excited to hear if you would like to respond to this question from Theo on YouTube.
May I ask, besides of user subscription, where do you get revenue from? Fundraising. No fundraising. Fuck fundraising. Unless somebody writes us a check. No, we don't do fundraising from subscription revenue. Where else? We've launched a couple products in the past that fund the current development cycle of new products. So some months we're pretty good on revenue when it comes to not needing fundraising, but it's from just shipping features and products and ideas and seeing what happens. Any thoughts on that, too?
Fully, I love that we are building without fundraising. I think that is going to be one of the key differentiators is if you fundraise, you have sold your soul to someone who needs to value extract your investors. By not fundraising, we can fully align on this is the product we want to build. We don't need to value extract. We can focus on building great products. And I think that is a beautiful way to build companies that has not been possible up and until the age of vibe coding. We just lost Sid. So I think I'm going to start to wrap this up. We got a couple of last minute comments. We got LMAO from Theo. Then we got David from YouTube said, connect me with artists to fit my production style. Something like that for producers will be awesome. David, I recommend you try that prompt out because that actually already exists within Recoup. If you say, connect me with artists to fit my production style, it will search the internet, look up your brand, find other artists on the internet that match your brand. And if you update the prompt, say, and send them an email, it will go out and send those people an email as well. So that way you can connect. So in one prompt, if you're a producer and you want to get connected with musicians that are match your brand, go into Recoup, try the prompt that David just sent, connect me with artists that fit my production style, and send them an email, and watch as your production schedule starts to get filled up from Recoup automatically doing your outreach and your sales for you. And then Theo said, thanks for the answer anyway. If you were looking for a way to get $1 million investment, this is not the place because we are bootstrapping and keeping all of the equity for the internal team. So
all right, sign us off. I know we got.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been the weekly Recoup stand-up. We will be back on Wednesday for a midweek check-in. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a retweet, and we'll see you next time.